Good afternoon. I'm 14 First Alert meteorologist Arden Gregory here with your afternoon streaming show. This is a live look at the view from our 14 News Studio tower camera. There are a few clouds overhead, and some of you are even dealing with some isolated showers and storms, but the emphasis is still on the heat and will be through the rest of today and tomorrow. Even as we get into the weekend, it'll still be pretty steamy out there, but we get a little bit of relief from the heat as some scattered rain moves into the forecast, but cooler and, more importantly, drier air really starts to take over by the middle of next week. So we'll talk more about that break in the heat and even more so in the humidity. For now, though, we are still under that heat advisory until 7 o'clock tomorrow. So through the rest of the day today and throughout the day tomorrow, we're still under this heat advisory for dangerously high heat and humidity. I mentioned some rain. We've had some clouds kind of bubble up in the heat of the day, and then some very isolated showers and thunderstorms, mainly in western Kentucky. These popped up and moved through Muhlenberg and Ohio counties and are now working their way through McLean and Davis counties. And as this rain continues to move northward, it is starting to fall apart a little bit, so I'm not sure how much longer it's going to make it, but I think we'll see at least a little bit of that rain cross the Ohio River into parts of Indiana as we go through this afternoon. But again, any rain we see today, very isolated. Many of us will stay dry, and any rain we do see is going to taper off as we head towards sunset later this evening. Tomorrow will be partly cloudy, but much like today, we've got just an isolated chance of a few showers or thunderstorms starting around midday and continuing through the afternoon and evening. But once again, I think many of us may end up staying dry. Our rain chances really start to pick up as we get into the weekend. Saturday, we've got a chance of rain even in the morning. Again, not talking about a total washout here, but just very scattered showers, maybe a thunderstorm, just kind of on and off throughout the entire day on Saturday, and we see that repeated again on Sunday. As for our temperatures, sitting in the low to mid 90s in most locations right now. Owensboro noticeably cooler because that's where it's raining right now, so bringing them a little bit of relief in Owensboro. In Evansville, it's currently 93, but when you factor in the humidity, it feels like 101. So keep that in mind as we move forward into the afternoon. It is another hot, humid day out there. I think we'll tack on a couple more degrees and top out somewhere in the mid 90s this afternoon. Then we'll very slowly fall back through the 90s and into the 80s as the evening goes on. Overnight, it's going to be warm and muggy with temperatures only falling back into the mid 70s, as has been the case for most of this week. Then tomorrow, another steamy one with high temperatures in the mid 90s and heat index values in the low triple digits. Then we will start to see some relief from the heat as we get into the weekend, and really a break in the heat and humidity early next week then. So just be aware, we're still sitting at that same major heat risk today and tomorrow. By the weekend, that backs off into more of a moderate heat risk. So there is still that danger of heat-related illnesses like heat exhaustion and heat stroke, but it's lower than what it's been this week. So still pretty sticky and steamy through the weekend and even into Monday, but more of that moderate heat risk rather than that level 4 out of 5 major heat risk. Then as we get into Tuesday, look at that. You can just see that relief coming in as we drop back to minor heat risk, which is essentially where we sit all summer long. It's going to be hot out there, so even if you just take care of yourself, because even outside of dangerous heat levels in July, if you're not drinking water and you're out in the sun too long, you could still end up in a spot of trouble. As we go through this weekend, like I said, some scattered rain possible on and off throughout the day, both Saturday and again on Sunday. But Monday is our best chance of rain. That's when this cold front is going to come in from the northwest. And as that pushes in and clashes with that warm, humid air that's in place, rain is likely later in the day Monday. Showers for sure, maybe some thunderstorms. I think we could see some very heavy rain as all of that moisture kind of gets squeezed out of the atmosphere, and obviously some lightning as well. But right now we're not anticipating severe weather, so things like tornadoes, hail, that sort of thing, not expecting that on Monday, but maybe some heavy rain, lightning, a few gusts of wind. Then this cold front moves through. As it pushes off to the southeast, it's going to take the rain with it. So the rain tapers off Tuesday morning. But really pay attention to these little wind arrows here. I don't know how clearly you can see that, but we've got cooler, drier air coming in from the northwest. So we see a small dip in the heat, but even more importantly, a dip in the humidity. So here's our temperatures. This cool down is going to kind of come in two waves here. So we've got mid-90s today and tomorrow, backing off into the lower 90s Saturday, Sunday, Monday, and then a slight dip into the upper 80s to around 90 then through the middle of next week. Still hot. This cool down is not going to be cool. It's going to be July in the tri-state. So it's still going to be hot, but it's going to be that normal kind of typical summertime heat. The humidity is where you're really going to feel this, because that humidity just skyrocketed over the weekend, right? We saw this just surge in moisture in the atmosphere, and it has been just miserably humid ever since this past weekend, all week long, and it's still going to be humid out there even into Monday. Then when that cold front moves through, that's when we see that beginning to dip back into just humid. So not miserably air you can wear, kind of muggy, but just humid. Hot and humid, the way hot and humid is normal for July in the tri-state, not heat advisory hot and humid, which is what we've been dealing the past couple weeks. And I did forget to move this as we've shifted forward. So that first alert weather day does expire at the end of the day Friday. We're not on alert over the weekend. That's just left over from yesterday. I forgot to update it. That's my bad. We do have a couple of questions in here. Good afternoon, Jeanette. Cheyenne asking if the heat advisory could be extended. I doubt it. Technically, a heat advisory in the tri-state means a heat index of 105 or greater. While it's still going to be humid over the weekend, I think the peak heat index values would probably be right around 100. So not getting up to that 105 heat advisory level. So it's still going to be hot and humid, but I don't think it'll be heat advisory hot and humid. So I'm not anticipating that that's going to be expanded. We'll have that rain around to kind of help cool things down, and then the real drop in the heat and humidity comes in the middle of next week, and it looks like we'll have fairly nice kind of typical summer weather then as we head toward the 4th of July. I'm not seeing any other questions. Looks like some people are just excited about getting some rain and some cooler weather. I am too. I'm going to go ahead and wrap this up, but don't go anywhere. Jamie French and Robinson Miles will be right back with some of your latest news headlines.
Stay informed on your local news and weather throughout the day by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows. At 8:30 a.m., get your First Alert forecast to plan the day ahead and catch up on the news that happened overnight with the 14 News Sunrise team. In the afternoon, get the latest headlines, forecasts, and a preview of the stories we're working on with the 14 First Alert streaming show at 2:30. And get an in-depth look at the 14 First Alert forecast so you're ready for the next big thing with the 14 First Alert weather show at 9 p.m. Watch the 14 First Alert streaming show that fits your schedule and works best for you. Streaming on your phone by downloading the 14 News app and the 14 First Alert weather app. On your smart TV by using the 14 News streaming app. And stream anytime on Facebook, YouTube, or on 14news.com. Stay connected and stay informed by watching the 14 First Alert streaming shows on your favorite streaming devices. Live from 14 News, this is a 14 Digital News Desk update.
Good afternoon, everyone. Thanks for joining us for our 2:30 streaming show. I'm Jamie French.
And I'm Robinson Miles. Thank you for taking a little bit of time out of your afternoon to join us. We do have a lot of big things happening around the tri-state, not the least of which is that we finally have our amazing Jamie French back with us on the stream, off having all kinds of adventures over the past few days.
I've been hanging out in the heat at the Union County Fair.
There we go. She wasn't missing out on any of that, believe me. You weren't vacationing someplace away from all the heat.
I was right here in it.
Well, we are going to start off today. We've got two big stories that we are keeping our eye on right now. The first of which is actually out of Carmi, where officials are investigating a house fire. Now, this happened this morning at Maple and 8th Street in Carmi. Fire officials say 5 people were hurt, and 2 of them were adults who were flown to the hospital with severe injuries.
Now, neighbors tell us they heard a loud boom before the fire started. Crews are still there on scene. They are looking over all of the damage, trying to figure out what may have caused it. We do have a crew on the way, too. Of course, we will update you as soon as we learn more information. And, of course, as we find out a cause of that fire and an update on the condition of those hurt.
Now, the next story that we have for you guys kind of runs along the same theme of what we've been covering all week, that no matter what's been going on, the central current to a lot of it is that the heat makes everything a little bit different, makes everything a little bit more interesting. So today is actually the second day of Romp. So where this is a very fun thing, you do kind of have to keep your eye open for the effect that all of this heat is going to have on that. So as we mentioned, of course, it is underway now. The first performance of this year's festival was actually last night. Now, city officials, of course, get very excited about this because the event draws people in from all over the country and can be a pretty big economic boost for the area.
Yeah, that's exactly right. Now, despite the heat, the fun will pick back up later today around 4. The Vicky Vaughn Band is on the main stage tonight, and our Liz DeSantis will be there as well, right in the middle of all of the fun and the heat. She is going to bring us the sights and the sounds of Romp this year later tonight on 14 News. Plus, we do have the full schedule. Let me pull that up for you guys in case you want to take a screenshot or anything. Maybe you want to head out tonight. If you do want to buy some tickets, all of that information is on 14news.com for you. Pricing, schedule, and everything is over there. But a pretty full lineup. I mean, it goes until midnight, so maybe by the time we get into that 8:30 performance with Molly Tuttle, it'll feel a lot better when the sun goes down. So if you are planning on it, maybe hit the later shows.
I was going to say, and this isn't even the most densely packed day that they have. Looking in the future, it starts to start a little bit earlier. Of course, all the fun continues till very late in the evening. Now, to round things out, we do have a resident expert here on outdoor fun. Of course, you're at the Union County Fair for the past few days. Tips, tricks, anything people need to know?
Yes, some things are different this year at the Union County Fair. Of course, we've already gotten through all of the county fair pageants, so the new royalty has been crowned. If you're walking around the fair and you see girls with the pretty tiaras, that's the new royalty. Tonight is the kids' rodeo, and they have a lot of new things for those kids, which this is inside of the arena, which is air-conditioned. So if you've got some kids interested in all fun rodeo things, practicing their roping skills, all of that will be in the air conditioning, but that's tonight. Also a cornhole tournament, which sounds very fun.
Nice.
I've been seeing pig races. There is a full petting zoo. They've got a camel, a zebra, all kinds of fun stuff for the kids. So lots of new things happening. I've been seeing some sort of raffle as well, chances to win money. So some new things. So those are my tips, is to check out those, and then, of course, get a lemon shake-up.
Oh,
Got
nice.
to.
Now,
Got to.
From what I hear, of course, Jamie came into the office. We were hearing all about her fun experiences there. From what I was able to gather, overalls maybe not the best outfit choice.
No, I did wear my denim overalls, really channeling my inner farm girl, and I really thought I was going to faint, guys. It was so hot. So, dress cool. They do have some fans, but I mean, we need to go shorts, sleeveless top situation if you can. Carry the water bottle around. Do not wear your denim overalls. Just save them, guys. Put them back in the closet. Take it from me.
All right, well, with that, thank you so much for carving a little bit of time out of your day. Of course, we're going to have all of those stories in more detail, including a whole lot more tonight when we get to 4, 5, and 6, and then again for 14 News at 10.
All right. Thanks for watching. Have a great afternoon.